every show today can talk about the theatrics of Senator Padilla and Senator Warren yesterday. But it takes the special podcast to introduce you to Masterpiece Theater. Tonight, we present a spectacle so sublime, so stupendous, it shall sear itself into the annals of human history. Behold, America's greatest thespians, nay, titans of the stage, Senator Alex Padilla, Senator Elizabeth Warren, and Senator Cory Booker. Prepare yourself for a torrent of fear, a deluge of tears, a veritable hurricane of histrionics. First, witness Senator Alex Padilla as the poor, downtrodden, utterly helpless, yet inexplicably powerful senator from California. See him bum rush the stage in a mostly peaceful, chaotic sort of way. Then, Senator Elizabeth Warren takes the stage with her heart-wrenching monologue, which we've dubbed The Trail of Tears. Watch as she channels the anguish of 1,000 ancestors, her voice trembling with the weight of a nation's sorrow, or possibly just a really bad day at the Capitol cafeteria. And finally, Senator Cory Booker unleashes the full outrage in our climactic opus, The Coming of a Tyrant. Feel the earth quake beneath his righteous fury. Marvel as he roars defiance. Is every syllable a dagger to the heart of despotism? Or at least to the heart of anyone who forgets to mute a Zoom call. So, dear audience, gird your loins for an evening and episode of passion, pathos, and possibly a few pulled hamstrings, because this is Masterpiece Theater. We join the action now in California at a Kristi Noem press conference. And in the room somewhere in the back, Senator Alex Padilla. Let's listen in.
The burdensome leadership that this governor and that this mayor have placed on this country and what they have tried to insert into this city. So I want to say thank you to every single person that has been able to do this.
Senator Alex Padilla, I have questions for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your
I also want to
Okay. How dare them? How dare them indeed? Okay, so here he is. He's identified himself after he bum rushes the podium for a live press conference. He comes in, bum rushes. He is not wearing his Senate pin, which would identify him. They have no idea if he's a senator or not. I've never even heard of this clown. Certainly wouldn't have recognized him. It looks like somebody you would find, I don't know, sitting in the center of a Wendy's, for lunch. I don't know who this guy is. Until they get him out of there, as they should. I don't know if you know this, but this was his big stage debut. This was his moment. But before Israel could strike in those waning moments of his fame, Elizabeth Warren takes the stage. And here, in the episode we call The Trail of Tears, she says this.
When Senator Padilla gets pushed, shoved, thrown to the handcuffed, because he is asking questions, because he is engaging in the very oversight that senators are supposed to engage in, then what we're really talking about here is a Trump administration that just wants to shut down the ordinary functions of government.
He went there to observe and to ask questions.
Oh, here's a bonus.
And I watched with horror on this video, seeing these agents grab my colleague, my fellow senator from California, grab him, push him out of the hearing. And I am shocked by how far we have descended in the first 140 days of this administration.
Oh, my goodness.
Because
he's
if
never
you
seen
can make
this.
Alex Padilla forcibly
Now Cory
kneel
Booker.
before this executive, when does it stop?
When?
He's a United
dare I
States
ask?
senator.
A United
And you can
States
force him to kneel to his knees
Force him
violently.
to kneel.
When does it stop? This is
When?
a test. This is a crossroads. This
is it.
a day in which the character of this body will be defined.
I say, dare I say, a day which will live in infamy. I shall not bow or even introduce myself, or, I'm just going to crash the press conference and then just try to hijack it. That's all I'm going to do. That's all I'm going to do. How dare you stop me? When did the Senate lose its decorum? I mean, I expect this now from the Congress. Generally, we've always known there are a few clowns in Congress, but now the senators are all doing it.
I mean, there's nobody better at it than Cory Booker, though. I mean, you want to talk?
He was good.
He's
good.
Pathetic in every single way. I love him.
Titan of the stage. Titan of the stage.
Glenn, now you've got a bit of a historian. You own a museum, right? You've been looking back at our history and throughout it. At any point in the Federalist Papers or in our founding documents, was there a path created for a senator to talk to a government official other than interrupting a press conference? Has anyone ever thought of a way for them to meet and discuss an issue of importance?
No. It's in Section 2, Section 3 of the Constitutionist part. Right. Where they say, you got questions, you got to storm the room. You just got to storm the room.
Don't tell anyone you're coming. Don't announce yourself in advance. Don't talk to security. Say, hey, just by the way, I'm going to go talk to, my name is Senator Alex Padilla. I'm going to go up and talk.
If you did say that and they said, sir, this is a closed press conference. She's not taking any questions. This is just a live broadcast. You can wait for her. She'll talk to you after. And then you say, I have the right to storm the room. How pathetic is it that they only had this pathetic little 20-minute period and now nobody's talking about it?
Oh, I know. I will say, the greatest party hurt by the Israel's actions overnight was not Iran, but it was Alex Padilla's fundraising, because this was his big plan. This was his big moment in the sun. He was going to take in millions of dollars and get all this attention and get all these MSNBC hits and all the things that every senator seems to go to Washington for these days, because it's certainly not making laws. And he was going to have this wonderful wave of attention, and he instead remained the giant zilch he was yesterday. He's going to remain a giant, pathetic, empty nothing of a senator that I might note, you as a Radio Hall of Fame member and a person who follows this every day did not even know who he was. I mean, it was kind of like, this guy named Alex Padilla. Maybe, I don't know. Heard the name.
He's a senator.
Perhaps.
Is that the ball club in Washington, D.C.? No.
It's incredible, and that's who he is. I mean, and it's funny. Like, the successful version, I suppose, of all of this is Cory Booker, right? Like, he did this. A big speech a few months ago that everybody was talking about, and
everybody.
then that is on the heels of his, I think, 2% presidential run effort, which was impressive as well back in the day. So I think he's got a huge future as well. Elizabeth Warren, kind of a trail of tears that we saw there.
That's good. There's no acting involved in that. She was just going into her kitchen to grab herself a beer, and her husband's going to just kind of pop in unexpectedly. Whoa. Hey, husband. Want a brew?
Well, the fascinating part about this is obviously they're bad at governance, but they're also bad at this. They're not convincing people that anyone could take seriously, even if they tried.
Well, they are all they are now is just storyline. They are just telling a story. You're watching a play. When you're watching the Democrats and the left now, it is nothing but a play. What are they doing? They're getting ready for the big No Kings thing on Saturday, right? All over the country. No kings. He's a tyrant. He's a king. So they've been planning this one for a while. So what do they do this week? Well, they make sure that they say that he's acting like a tyrant in Los Angeles. Then they say he's acting like a tyrant because he's just scooping people up in the middle of the night. Then he's acting like a tyrant because he has a giant missile parade, and nobody does that. A missile parade, nobody but North Korea does that. And then they storm in. They know that they're going to be pushed back. They're hoping to be pushed back. And why? What do they get out of it? They all run to the social media boxes and go, oh my God, he's a tyrant. He's a tyrant. That's all they're doing is they're setting this up for him to be a tyrant, and it's not working. You're just not. I'm not buying it. I suppose they're really stupid people in the country that look at that and go, I think those are real tears coming from that squaw. I think those are real squaw-like tears. By the way, I heard the New York Times, the Daily, with Michael Barbaro. Wow. They did the whole thing on the missile parade. Stu, you got to listen to it. It'll drive you out of your mind. So this is what they said. They said, first, it was a bad idea. Why did he do this? We're talking to expert on parades, on the missile parade. Why would he do this? Well, a lot of people are upset because no democracy does this. Only dictators. Well, I'm actually going to get to that here in a second. But we don't do these things. And except for Wilson, FDR, Eisenhower, JFK's inauguration, none during Vietnam, and then after the Gulf War with George W. Bush. But we haven't done these things. We just don't do them. We never had. Also, I would like to point out the VFW and the Foreign Legion every year and thousands of parades all around the country. But, they don't usually have tanks. But it's a really bad idea because it's also Trump's birthday, Now, it takes them almost 8 minutes before they also say, and it's the Army's 250th birthday. They never say, and by the way, we're going into the 250th anniversary of America, but it's just Trump's birthday. And then they say it's a bad idea because Washington, D.C. is a dangerous place and people could get hurt. Dangerous? Since when is Washington, D.C. dangerous to the New York Times? Are you a racist? My gosh, it's safe. And the new socialist mayor who defunded the police and painted BLM on the streets has that city running like a top. It's completely safe. But then it was too expensive. You can't do that military parade because it's too expensive. Yeah, $45 million. It is. Now, my problem is you won't cut anything from the budget, even the corruption. So how am I going to take you seriously about the budget? And then my favorite is, which is they started with, they said, Trump got this idea because he was over in France, and I can't explain France, but, no democracy does this. This is just dictators. We don't ever do this. Republics or democracies, they don't have these military. And they went on and on and on about how it doesn't happen, except for our closest cousin, England. Every year, I know because I got caught in it last year. Oh, geez. They have something called Trooping the Color. And that's the official birthday celebration of the king or the queen. And one of the oldest military traditions in the UK. And they have all these guys, the military, and they do all these drills, and they all march out into the, And it's not even on his birthday. His birthday, I don't even know, is in fall or something. It's a complete sham. Anyway, they don't have any missiles, but they've been dragging the troops out there, so Prince Charles can stand there all day and just look at them and go, yep, they're my boys. Okay, so you do it in England. Then you also do it in France. They've been doing it, Bastille Day, military parade. Then you also do it in India. Didn't know that. Did you know that? They do it in India. And they also do it in another democracy as well. I'm trying to remember which one it is. But so it doesn't just happen in North Korea. Shoot. I guess they were wrong on all fronts, New York Times.